Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a stack of sources that, frankly, challenge the way most of us think about work, about effort, about commitment itself.
It's really not just another productivity talk. This is about finding meaning and, I guess, sustainability in the actual doing of the work.
Exactly. We're trying to find, the operating manual for integrating your daily effort with being completely present and having real integrity. The idea is that the journey itself becomes the reward.
So that the daily grind can actually feel joyful,
Yeah.
sustainable. You're not just waiting for your boss or the universe or something to give you a gold star.
Right. You're not waiting for permission.
Our mission here is to give you a clear path out of what our sources call the tyranny of future-focused living. We want you to walk away from this with a real aha moment.
Something you can use right now. And to really anchor this whole thing, we have to start with a story. It's from 1888.
This is the Theodore Roosevelt one.
The Theodore Roosevelt, yeah. So imagine him. He's tracking this huge bull caribou for days, and it's just brutal. Bitter, cold, horrible terrain, constant frustration.
The absolute peak of physical and mental effort. But he finally succeeds.
He does, but what he wrote after that victory is what's so fascinating. He started to question if the whole experience, all that hardship, even needed what he called an external repayment.
He literally asks if the hunter can find life in the wilderness pleasure enough in itself.
And that is the question, isn't it? That's the core tension. Do we need the trophy, the promotion, the retirement party to justify the journey?
Or can the focused, engaged effort be its own reward?
That tension leads us straight into our first pillar, which is presence.
Right. Because culturally, we're just obsessed with destinations. Think about it. We measure everything by milestones.
Oh, completely. Parents are just trying to get through the terrible teens to get to graduation day.
Or workers who just endure jobs they can't stand for decades, literally counting down the days to retirement.
And this obsession, it creates this very specific kind of suffering. When we're so fixated on some distant finish line, we completely sacrifice the present moment.
And the really cruel irony is that when you finally get there, when the caribou is bagged or the mortgage is paid off, it almost never delivers that satisfaction you were expecting.
The finish line just moves.
It always moves.
Uh-huh.
And Roosevelt's story shows the real cost of that mindset. The hunter who only cares about bagging the quarry, well, he's going to be disappointed 9 times out of 10.
And worse than that, he's basically blind and deaf to everything else that's happening.
All the richness that's unfolding around him.
Right. He's missing the sunset, the way the deer is moving through the trees, the just profound silence of the place. He's so locked on that one future moment that he forfeits the entire present.
And that translates so painfully to our lives. If a parent sees raising a child as just an endurance test, something to win by surviving tantrums,
Then they miss all the little things. The irreplaceable stuff, the spontaneous laugh on a Tuesday afternoon, the quiet moment of a bedtime story. They're just always looking past it.
professionally, it's even worse.
Hmm.
We become, as one source put it, ghosts haunting our own lives.
That's a powerful phrase.
It is. You're at your desk, you're in the meeting, but your spirit isn't there. You're just waiting for the next thing. The promotion, the bonus,
The weekend.
the weekend, to make it all feel worthwhile. And the solution here is so simple. It's from the philosopher Alan Watts. He says, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now.
So fulfillment isn't a prize you get later. It's a state that's available right now through that moment-to-moment engagement.
Exactly.
Okay, so if complete presence is pillar number one, the second has to be persistence, the sustained day in, day out effort. How do you keep going when the rewards are totally invisible?
I mean, you don't even know if the caribou's still out there?
Right.
Well, the sources have some fantastic and pretty counterintuitive advice here, particularly from Stephen Pressfield's mentor, a guy named Ernie.
Ah, yes, Arnie.
Ernie's advice was brutally simple. Keep working. Don't turn anything down.
Okay, that sounds a little reckless. I mean, if you're trying to build a career, isn't saying yes to everything, even the low-paying, unglamorous stuff you mentioned.
The porn flicks, slasher movies, free stuff for friends.
Yeah, that stuff. Isn't that just a recipe for burnout, for getting stuck in the weeds?
And that's the right question to ask. But Ernie wasn't pushing for just being busy. He was teaching what you could call strategic non-preciousness.
Strategic non-preciousness. I like that.
It's about how so many young professionals fail because they're protecting their dignity, right? They refuse jobs that are beneath them. but refusing that work prevents the very practice you need to develop mastery.
So the goal isn't the prestige or the money in that moment. The goal is just to keep the engine running.
Exactly. And Ernie gave 3 brilliant reasons for this.
Hmm.
First, it validates your professional identity. Every job, every paycheck, no matter how small, it confirms that you're a working pro. You practice your craft for value.
Okay, so it affirms who you are. What's the second reason?
Learning. Simple as that. When you're working, you're learning. Because everyone on a job has something to teach you. The grip on a film set knows lighting better than the director.
The editor understands pacing. The other actors have insights on timing.
You're getting it. Every single experience offers these unique lessons. You're acquiring skills horizontally through just being there, not just vertically through a promotion.
And the third reason?
Longevity. It's networking. You're building relationships that can pay off for years. One source says, some kid who's schlepping coffee today may be a producer tomorrow.
These connections matter.
And that invisible, persistent work, that's the real foundation. I think Muhammad Ali said it best.
Oh, the quote is perfect.
The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses behind the lines, at the gym and out there on the road. Long before I dance under those lights, championships are just the visible tip of the iceberg. The real work happens when nobody's watching.
And that really validates this great aphorism we found. Greatness is just the combination of a lot of small things done well each and every day.
That's it. That's persistence.
Which, okay, that brings us to a really interesting paradox. We've established that fulfillment comes from doing the work well without needing credit. But we're also told constantly that, good fortune and recognition will come.
Right. You hear both things. On one hand, never stop doing your best just because someone doesn't give you credit.
And on the other, you have someone like Hulk Hogan saying, money comes fast and easy, or Cervantes telling us that good will eventually triumph. It feels contradictory.
It does seem like a contradiction. Focus on the internal process, but also trust that external rewards will just show up. But it all resolves when you get the causal order right.
The causal order.
External validation should never be the reason you do good work. It should be the natural consequence of it. If you make validation the reason, you're just setting yourself up for bitterness and burnout.
Because the recognition almost never arrives on your schedule.
Or at all, sometimes. The key is that the excellence has to be its own reward, whether anyone sees it or not. When you commit to that, you inevitably build skills, you create value, you earn a reputation. People notice that eventually.
So excellence first, recognition second. Never the other way around.
Never. And this idea, internal commitment, connects directly to integrity, to ethical behavior.
How does that work?
It's about this idea of integrity as visibility. There was this fantastic, sharp piece of anonymous wisdom in the sources. If you have to sneak to do it, lie to cover it up, or delete it to avoid it being seen, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
That cuts through everything, doesn't it? It's just a simple gut check.
It is. Integrity is acting as though your behavior will eventually come to light, because over time, it usually does. Character is what you do when you think no one will ever know.
Okay, so we have presence, we have persistence. Now we need the third pillar, strategic discernment. Because just persisting without direction is it's just wasted energy.
It's just spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
How do we choose which doors to walk through? Especially after Ernie's advice to say yes to everything.
Exactly.
Well, the criteria have to evolve as you grow. And for that, we can actually turn to Peter Drucker's 6 Rules for Successful Acquisitions. They were written for corporate mergers, but they are a profound framework for any big personal commitment.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical. Drucker's rules for buying a company. How does one person apply rule number 1? Base the commitment on business strategy over financial opportunism.
You just translate it. Business strategy becomes your personal strategy. Does this opportunity align with your core values, your long-term goals? A job might offer great money, that's the financial opportunism, but if it violates your values, Drucker would say it's a bad acquisition, a bad commitment for you.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, what about rule 2? Ensuring the acquirer's genuine contribution, not mere extraction.
That's about self-awareness. You have to ask yourself, can I genuinely contribute something valuable here, or am I just showing up to take something? If you can't really contribute, it's not going to lead to fulfillment. It has to be mutual value creation.
And what about the big ones, like being prepared to provide top management leadership? How does that apply to, say, a side hustle?
It just translates to ownership, accountability.
No.
Are you prepared to lead this thing from the front, to do the thinking, to anticipate the problems, to take responsibility for the outcome. If you're secretly hoping someone else will handle the hard parts, you haven't really committed.
So these rules, respecting what's already there, creating opportunities for others, they become a personal checklist.
They do. And if a project or a job fails that internal check, it's a door you should probably close.
Which leads directly to Paulo Coelho's insight. It's the perfect counterpoint to Ernie's early advice. Coelho says we have to close some doors today because they lead you nowhere.
It's the natural evolution. Ernie tells you to say yes to get experience, but once you have that experience, you need discernment.
Discernment is where presence and strategy meet.
That's a great way to put it, is knowing what you value right now and knowing where to invest your effort for the long haul. And that leads to this really liberating truth we found. Many paths lead to the same destination. It doesn't matter how you get there.
That frees you up from so much anxiety, from that paralysis of trying to find the one perfect path.
Exactly. Once you've used your discernment and chosen a path, you're free to just walk it with full commitment. The path becomes the right one because you committed to it.
So when we put all three pillars together, what does that integrated life look like?
It requires blending ambition with generosity. The sources talk about the synthesis of the go-getter and the go-giver.
Right, Leonard Hudson's phrase, be a go-giver as well as a go-getter.
You need both. You need the drive to pursue excellence, but also the generosity to share what you learn, to create value for other people. That's what makes it sustainable.
And how you do it, the manner of it, matters just as much. The sources advise, always speak softly, politely, and truthfully.
Which isn't just about being nice. It's a reflection of character. Speaking softly shows confidence. You don't need to shout. Politely shows respect. And truthfully.
Yeah.
Well, that's just integrity.
Those small daily choices are what define everything. And the ultimate model for this, the person who embodies all of it, comes from Wilfred Peterson.
Peterson's description is perfect. He said the people worth walking with are those with their heads in the clouds and their feet on the ground.
The perfect synthesis. You need the big vision, the dreamer, the heads in the clouds.
But you have to combine that with the practical, disciplined, daily effort, the doer, the feet on the ground.
So the final synthesis isn't about choosing between the present and the future, or the process and the outcome. It's about integrating them.
Through that sustained present moment engagement. So just to recap the three pillars. Presence, finding meaning in the now. Persistence, committing to the thousands of invisible hours. And discernment, choosing wisely where to put that energy.
Because if you can't find meaning in the daily practice, no future achievement is ever going to satisfy you.
Exactly. The person who only works for retirement gets there too depleted to enjoy it.
The alternative is always available, in every single moment. It's a choice to fully inhabit your life, to think less and feel more,
Talk less and do more.
complain less and appreciate more. We started with Roosevelt in the wilderness, wondering if the hunt was pleasure enough in itself. Everything we've unpacked today says, yes, it is. The fulfillment is in the act.
So the final thought we want to leave you with is a practical one. It's a challenge, really. If that wilderness, that effort, is pleasure enough, what single choice can you make today? Something unseen, unglamorous, maybe even a little tedious, that fulfills you completely just in the doing of it.
What effort can you commit to that makes any eventual reward just a grace note on a melody that's already complete?